In this lesson, we've been learning about how directors use camera movements to focus the audience's attention on specific objects, characters, actions, and settings. In novels, authors use words to reveal information to the reader. Filmmakers have to use visual cues to communicate information, and so camera movement is an important element of their storytelling. I'm going to add some camera movements to my storyboard. My story begins with an overhead angle of the forest, so for that I'm going to need to use a boom, probably on a crane or maybe even a drone. In my next shot, where I'm doing an extreme long shot of the forest, I'm going to add a bird and I'm going to track that bird with the camera to show that the bird is flying, and the bird will lead us into the story world. I have a long shot of the cottage in the woods to show the setting and the time of the day. So I'm going to do a pull in and bring the audience into the house in a lovely smooth motion. For the long shot of the kitchen showing the bears living everyday life, I'm going to keep the camera static. Next, I'm going to track the three bears as they leave the kitchen and head off down the pathway so that the audience feels like they're leaving too. Then we're going to fly up into the air, where I'm going to use a boom shot, but with a tilt down, so the audience gets a sense that something is going to happen. For my overhead shot that shows that there's two different paths, it's going to need to be boom because it's going to need to be high. But I'm going to push in so we move down into Goldilocks, and then we'll track her so that it feels as if we're following Goldilocks down the path towards the three bears' house. Next, I have a full shot and the audience is introduced to Goldilocks. I'm going to add a fast zoom, which will give a burst of energy as Goldilocks comes in the door. When we move into the kitchen, we're going to pan left to right and then back to left. So we see Goldilocks, then the three bowls, and back to Goldilocks. We'll keep the camera in a static position while we watch her try the three different bowls of porridge, and that way we can focus purely on her actions. As she's eating though, we're going to zoom in on the porridge as it goes into her mouth. Next, I have a long shot so that you can see the kitchen mess. So that means it's going to need to be boom. It's going to need to be up high, and I'm going to tilt the camera down to increase the tension. It'll give the audience a sense that something's about to happen, which is exactly right, because now we move into the lounge room. I'm going to pan right so that we see the chairs first, and then we get to Goldilocks. For my next shot, where we're looking into the lounge room, because I'm up high, I'm going to need to use a boom. And again, I'm going to use a tilt down, and this will increase the tension and the suspense in the moment as the audience wonders what's about to happen next. I'm going to continue to add camera movements to my project, but I think you've seen enough to understand what to do yourself. Think about what you want the audience to focus on and which camera movement you'll use for that purpose.